Hello, everyone, and welcome to another stream of Hugo's Desk. My name is Hugo, and we'll be here for a couple of hours. And today we have a very special stream for you. We're going to be joined by a special guest called Saint Walker, and he's going to be talking about his brand new book. We'll talk about all of that, but I just wanted to say hello to everyone and just a bit of housekeeping before we get started. First of all, of course, just be sure that to tune in, I am streaming simultaneously on YouTube, and I'm also streaming on Twitch as well at the same time. So you take your pick, of course. Normally, there's a lot more people watching on YouTube, and so that's the common thread is for people to watch on YouTube. So the chat on YouTube is going to be more active. Twitch, of course, is a bit like a lot of people ask me to do it on Twitch because they would like to help out the channel by using their subscription, the free subscription from Amazon Prime. Sorry, I forgot to have something here that is wrong. Yeah, there you go. I had the wrong thing recording there. So a lot of people like to use their Twitch subscription, which is from Amazon Prime, and they like to use it on Twitch because it's free and you support the channels on Twitch. So that's why I kind of stream on Twitch. So today it's really special today. I'm really looking forward to this. So we're going to be talking about this book here. I have a copy of it here. I'm very lucky to have a copy. So I'll show you the book. So that's the not that camera there. So that's the book that we're going to be talking today. This is a book called The Core Skills of Visual Effects Handbook 2025. There's been 3 versions of this book in the past, and this is a book basically created and collected by Saint Walker, which is one of the creators of the book. He's going to be joined with us on the stream. And this was done with the support of the UK Screen Alliance as well. And they also had the support of the BFI and the National Lottery as well. So this is a UK publication. It's completely free. And so I'll be sharing the link in a minute online. There is a link for you to get the PDF. It's completely free. But Saint is going to give away a copy of this book during the stream. So there's of course a physical version as well, as you can see there. And so so I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to be looking through the book. We're going to be talking with Saint about the creation of this book and the genesis of how it all came to be. And we're also going to be talking about why this book is important and what is the goal of this book. We're going to be having a lot of discussions. We're going to go through some of the topics that are inside this book, and talk in detail about them. We're going to open up, of course, to the chat and to the audience, and so anyone can join in and ask questions. I just keep in mind that I'm doing this solo, of course, so it is a solo venture. So if you have questions, be patient. I will try to get to the questions as soon as I can. So that's kind of what we're going to do today. The digital version is available here. Might as well just give you the link right away. So if anyone also wants to tag along, because we're going to be going through the pages of this book. And so here's the link. I've just dropped the link on both chats, and then you can have a look at it through there. And then you can tag along as well, which is going to be nice. But before we do this, just as I usually do, forgive me, I do need to do a bit of housekeeping. I just wanted to let you all know of what's coming up. And so this is my next stream. So next stream will be on the 16th of October, the Honest Showreel Review. So don't forget that I'm streaming them on the... Oh, sorry, I have the wrong camera there. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about one thing. Sorry, apologies. This is my setup for gaming. So it's the wrong camera. There you go. That's a great camera. Always a bit of garbage truck on fire. So we've done the 2nd of October already, and it was great. It was a really great discussion about the state of the industry and about hiring and about what's happening right now. We're going to have another one on the 16th of October. We're going to have one on the 30th of October, 13th of November, and 25th of November. There's links on all these streams. It's by appointment, so if you want to be part of it doesn't need to be showreel. It can be a shot. It can be a portfolio piece. It can be an unfinished shot. It doesn't really matter. Don't worry. It's a very relaxed stream. So these streams will be happening on those dates in the future, near future. And then I'm really happy to announce that the return of the Hugo Disconstructs. And so I'll be joined with the Foundry to do 3 special streams for the Hugo Disconstructs. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. The links are already on the YouTube page. So the Hugo Disconstructs are going to be back. I finally have returned to them, and I'll tell you the dates in a minute. Just give me a second, because I don't know the dates out of my top of my head, because so if I go here, so the first Hugo Nuke Disconstructs real production shot will be on the 21st of October, so it'll be in a couple of weeks. We're gonna, again, like usual, disconstruct an entire project and an entire shot that is done in production. And then we're going to have another Nuke Disconstruct on the 18th of November, so about a month later. And then we'll have a final Nuke Disconstruct on the 5th of December. And this is going to be a good one. This is going to be all about the new 3D system of Nuke. So it's going to be really cool. We're going to be talking about how the 3D system is operating, what the new stuff is. I'll be introducing all the 3D system and everything. That's going to be on the 5th of December. All of these streams, all 3 of them, will have a Nuke Indie license as a giveaway. So really looking forward to that. It's going to be cool to get back to that. I haven't done these in a while. And so I'm really happy that the Foundry is supporting those streams and helping them become a reality. And so that's that. And then also just wanted to let you know that I've been slowly publishing all the talks from my 10th anniversary streams. And so if you go to my YouTube channel, there's the first one already there. The AI panel is already there. It's doing really well. We have a lot of comments on the comment section. Please go there and join the conversation as well. A lot of people quite disappointed. Other people very happy. So it's as always with AI, it's always like a Marmite situation. People hate it or love it. And so it's already there. Next week, I'll be publishing the No CGI panel. And then the week after that, I'm going to be publishing the workshops. And then the week after that, I'm going to be publishing the fireside chats, the one with Steph Soretti, the one with Paul Franklin. So I'll be slowly publishing all the individual talks that I did on the anniversary stream as well. And they're really doing well because people are more focused and they put some comments and everything, which is nice. Okay, so busy boy, I know, Nikki. That's right. Thanks for watching, Nikki. Thanks for being here. And with that in mind, like also I've just dropped on the link. So future visual effects notes episodes as well. We have a really special one coming up. I had the pleasure of having Ian here on the show. He was here on the office on the bunker, as he calls it. It's not a bunker; it's the first floor, but he keeps saying it's a bunker. So I had him this week here. Ian Fales was here to record an episode live with me, and we were joined by Christian Mantz, which is the visual effects supervisor of How to Train Your Dragon. And so he was here, and we were talking about How to Train Your Dragon and how they achieved that film. And look forward for that. We have a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of really cool clips that we're going to share during that VFX Notes podcast. So yeah, that's right, Fran, Yoshi. It's a desk. Look, we even took like a massive 360 as well. So it's like the Hugo's Desk world. That's what I should call it. Ian even took some pictures of him controlling my desk and pretending that it was Ian's desk, So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Also, like, keep in mind that if you want to support the channel, we do have new tiers on Patreon, so you can always join on Patreon if you want to be part of it. I do have exclusive content now on Patreon as well. I'm trying that out and see how that goes. So where can we get HDRs? Yeah, I did it. I did the HDR with this camera here. It was with this one here. This is the Insta360, the X4. So that's how I did that one. This bloody thing doesn't have bracketing, so I can't use it for HDR. It's so stupid that they took away bracketing, because it had bracketing on version 3, and then they took it out, and then X5 comes out and it doesn't have bracket at all. It's just like, what's wrong with these people? I don't really get it. And I contact them and they don't care. So, VFX Putigor? Is that how I say that? VFX Potigor? I'm not really entirely sure. Sorry about that. I am Portuguese, so bear with me. But thank you so much for becoming a member. You're gonna have your names on the credits now on my videos, and thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you taking the time to support the channel and become a member. Very, very much thank you. VFX Potigor. I think that's how I'd say that. I really hope I'm not screwing that name up. I'm really sorry if I am. But yeah, so if you want to become a member, I have 3 tiers now, and all of them have exclusive content. And in fact, I've been starting publishing exclusive content. So the first one I published was this. So I just published free, just for my Patreons, the VFX, the View conference workshop that I did. This is a 4-hour long workshop that I published on Patreon. So I'm publishing it once a week, and I'm publishing episodes there. So if you want to check that out, this is like a workshop I did 2 years ago, and it was basically like with deep compositing and with CG compositing, and so yeah. So I'm trying this thing of having exclusive content on Patreon, see how that goes, and yeah, Mikhail, I would love to have a custom firmware for that, but where do I find that? I don't even know where that is. How do you even do that? Do you know how to do that? I have no idea. I'll be honest. I still use my Canon 5D SR. It's a 50 megapixel camera. I have my 8mm. Actually, my 8mm is actually over there. Look, that's my 8mm right now. There. Hi. So I have like my 8mm is actually on that camera there. So I have this fancy angle now because I'm doing a video which uses this angle, and so that's why I have it there on that angle there. But that's my 8mm, and when I attach it to my 5D SR, we're gonna talk a bit about this when we talk about the book. I get like a full 360, 180. Well, I get a full 180 like circle, So it's the best way. It's the best way of doing HDR for me, in my view, in my personal view. But it's always like people have different opinions, of course, and that's fine. Okay. I'm going to wrap up this really soon. So one last thing is the workshops. So I have a giveaway for you guys. I think I already posted the link. So by the end of the stream, I will be giving away something that I've never done before, which I'm giving away my new course. I have a brand new course, which is the workshops, which is a course separated from the Nuke course that I had before. And this workshop has 8 courses. And so that's the link for the giveaway. I've posted on the chat, and there's the QR code and the links there as well. So if you want to join and get the QR code and everything, you can get into that giveaway. We have 2 giveaways today. So Saint Walker was also very kind to give away his book as well. I'm covering the... what do I do here? In here I cover the logos. There maybe there. I don't cover anything. So that's also the giveaway of his book. So the book is free, of course, and you can find it online on a PDF. But if you want to have a special edition of the book, I guess, because it's a physical media book, like if you want a physical hard copy of it, join this giveaway. Saint is giving away 3 copies of the book during this stream. So can't thank enough, Saint, for doing that. Thank you so much. But yeah, I think that's it. Mikhail thinks still no tiers of 12, 32, and 8 FRC. Oh my god, how geeky is that? I will do those tiers just because you told me. I will do them. Okay, and I think that's enough for the. We'll return to these things in a minute or so. I am, It goes without saying that if you are interested on my workshops or anything, you can also buy them. They're 60% off right now, so consider that as well if you want. I'll leave the link here, and I'm not gonna bother you more with links and with things, and we'll bring in Saint and start the conversation with him. But yeah, thank you so much. And I really wanted to thank everyone. We already have like 25 people watching on YouTube, which is fantastic. We already have 5 people watching on Twitch. So it's amazing. I can't thank you enough for you to being here, supporting my channel on a Friday. I'm so sorry that this stream is on a Friday, but it's okay. We'll live through it. Okay, so we're gonna bring in Saint and chat with him. Let's see how that goes, and I can't wait to talk to him. He's a dear friend. We've been mates for a long, long time, and I am really looking forward to chatting with him about this amazing book. So I'm going to bring them in and see. Hopefully they are here. And let's see here. So I'm gonna just give me a second because I need to. Yeah, Saint is already here, so that's cool. I just need to make sure that I don't have this wrong. Yeah, that's the ring. Yeah, by the way, I fixed this now, so people now they will be able to see everything in here. So, which is amazing. We haven't had this before, so now Saint will see me, and the audience will see me as well. So I fixed this. I used the new another video card, and so now I've managed to fix this, which is great. So happy that I can actually talk to people and people can see me. Okay, so let's bring them in and see. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. We're just gonna put the screen here for everyone to see you as well. Okay, so everyone should be seeing you as well, I hope. So hey Saint, how you doing?
Just about all right. Thank you very much, Hugo, and thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
Of course. My pleasure. I'm really looking forward to this. I love your book, and I think you do an amazing job in this industry. We've been friends for a long, long time, and I really wanted to do this to spread the word and to spread this book to everyone that I know. And hopefully we can do that today with the stream, because this stream will live on a VOD forever on YouTube.
Well, so. you know, it's interesting because actually we're very much in the same kind of game of communicating the amazing world of VFX. You do it from your professional point of view, and I do it from a kind of education point of view. But we meet a lot, and we share the same aims. So thank you for this opportunity.
Not a problem. It's always a pleasure to have you. So, Saint, for those of you that I know you very well, a lot of people on the audience will know you, but for those of you that don't know you at all, why don't you give us like a little intro and tell us a little bit about yourself and so that people get to know you a little bit.
Okay, well, I guess, you know, I should say straight away, my background is very much from the education point of view. I've always been fascinated by how we get to teach or train people in very contemporary ways. It's very hard often for education institutions to be up to date and to be to link in with industry. So my career has always been about that fascination of bringing education and talent together with industry in lots of ways. And I've run various training courses, I've created various events just to do that thing. So I'm a bit different from a lot of maybe your guests and people in the sense that I'm about linking two worlds together, because the world of VFX will only be as good as the talented people that come into it and join it. And if we can train people, and if we can tell people about the world of VFX more and more and make them feel included and see that it's all about talent as well as technology, the world of VFX is going to get much, much better. And the world of VFX, as you know, has a huge amount of challenges in the years to come. So this book, as you call it, I call it a handbook, but hey,
it's a book. Look, it's a book. I have it here. It's physical. It's a book.
it's part of the submission, if you like, to try and get people to understand what VFX is and to get involved. And so that's been my thing over the years, and I've always been on the education side, but working with industry and the VFX industry in particular.
Yeah, because you've worked on a lot of different schools. I mean, I think I first met you when you were either would have been at Scape or it would have been at the Norwich.
It was Norwich, yeah.
Was it Norwich? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was, and it was amazing because Norwich University of the Arts. I set up the VFX course there originally. 2013. I can't even remember what it was. But the great thing about Hugo and his energy is that I have fond memories of him coming all the way to Norwich with this flight case full of stuff, and he'd trundle along the cobbled streets in Norwich. You know, Norwich is kind of a medieval town if you don't know it, and he would trundle along. You'd hear him coming for miles of this flight case with wheels going, and he'd come to work with the students, and you'd say, "What have you brought this week, Hugo?" And he'd brought a 5D camera and a kind of all kinds of contraptions and stuff, and it was great. It was like the Candyman coming to town.
Thanks for that. I remember that. It's yeah. I tend to do that. I tend to bring equipment from on set and try to show it to the students, because the students don't get a lot of access to those things. That's why. Yeah, you do an amazing job on all the schools and all the universities you do, and all the yeah, it's fantastic what you've been achieving over all these years. So congratulations, my friend. Okay, so I wanted to first ask you about this, this book, the Core Skills of Visual Effects Handbook 2025. So this book, of course, as I told everyone on the audience, is free. Anyone can go and get it. I know that the book is, of course, supposed to be a book made for educators and for schools, but I personally, as an artist, I really feel this book is actually for any artist as well. It's not just for that, because I feel like it's really taps into the score skills in a really great way. And so tell me a little bit about how this happened. Like, how did this happen? How does this book exist in paper?
Yeah, so I'll have to go back into prehistory for that for you. But I used to work at a company called Skillset, and it looked after. It was like a government offshoot. It was a sector skills council funded by the government back in the 2010s, and their job was to try and make. Try and get the best people possible for the industries, the screen industries, and I sort of realized that the VFX industry was kind of taking off, and it wasn't really on the scene in education. There were some VFX courses, some very good ones like Bournemouth, but the industry wanted a lot more people to enter into the industry. You know, we just had the Harry Potters. We were climbing in terms of the world rankings and creativity, and the industry needed more people. And so one of the things that I thought was needed was, again, going back to that thing of bringing industry into education and making sure that education does things that are contemporary. I realized that one of the best ways to do this, and at the time I was reading lots of articles about open media and sharing stuff, and there were things like called MOOCs, massive online open courses. It was a time when people were going, hey, let's just share information. So I realized that, you know, we could make a kind of free download resource so that, one, universities and colleges would know what the main thing to teach was, because of course in a lot of universities they don't have so much link with industry. So that was important. But also we thought, well, it'd be useful for potential students as well. If you're a young person, you're going, I don't know what to do with my life, but I like playing with Photoshop, for instance. Okay, so we decided that the best way to sort of bring these people into the industry was by creating this. We called it a handbook, and we had focus groups with people from all the big companies. This was 2010, by the way. And I was working with Ian Murphy, who now runs the VFX at the National Film and Television School. But him and I would sit there in the offices of Skillset late in the night. It was called a skunkworks project. In other words, it was under the radar, you know. And we got the head of film at Skillset to give us a bit of money to do this. And so we developed the first one. And at that time, there was some sort of anti-feeling about industry, because a lot of education people felt that we were trying to dictate to them how they should run courses. And also they felt that they wanted to get more involved with research than actually contemporary skills. So it was a different time. But Ian and I spent many an evening at Skillset, burning the late night oil. Is that the phrase? Anyway, it's a long time. And we finally created the first version. And then what we did is we printed it out, thanks to Skillset. They funded it. And then it got sent to every single university in the UK.
Wow.
Damn. And those were the days. Those were the days. And then just if you I'll just keep the story short. But what happened then was, as you know, technology moves on, things change. So by 2016, it needed updating, and so I was then still at Skillset. They were called Creative Skillset then, and this time round, the mission, if you like, was to speak more to students. Because the courses were starting to kick off, new courses were happening. They were reading the handbook and they were taking on board the things that we'd said. 2016, the second version came up, and that was much more about focusing on students and prospective students, because we realized lots of people weren't students in the sense of going on a degree course, but they were students of YouTube. There were students of, etc. So the second version was that one. And then finally, here we are today, thanks to UK Screen, because Creative Skillset are no more. They're morphed into an organisation called ScreenSkills, who are still going and very useful for maybe your students. Your viewers to know about ScreenSkills, because they do lots of good stuff.
I still see them on almost every TV show I watch. Like there's always their logo at the end. Yeah, and I was just I'm watching House of Guinness now, and their logo is at the end. So that's pretty cool. It's funny that you're saying about this, because I think, hi, Simon is on the chat as well. Midnight Oil. That's right, Simon.
Thank you.
So it's funny that you were saying that, because I remember when I first started teaching, that's what's in 2008. I started teaching in Sweden when I was still living in Sweden, and I teach on, and at the time it was kind of that kind of thing, like no one knew what to teach. You would go to a university and people were like teaching After Effects, and they were like teaching Photoshop, and they were using really old stuff, and none of the teachers had any connections with the industry whatsoever, and so they were kind of guessing what needed to be taught. And so I remember at the time it was really cool to have the handbook, because I really adapted the way that and then I convinced the university. This was Campus I-12 in Sweden. They are no more. They don't exist anymore. But I convinced them, and then we started bringing in guest lectures from the industry, and that really kicked off, and it really changed the landscape of Swedish visual effects forever. With the enormous amount of people that school produced, and so. I think I know what you mean, because I remember getting a lot of resistance from teachers at the time about these topics, and they didn't know what it was, and are you sure we should be teaching? Because a lot of times they were very academical. Everything was very theory-based. Everything was about filmmaking and Fellini and Eisenstein, and it was all about, like, which is all good. Like I'm really happy to teach all of that, and I learned that as well in video art, but I just felt that they were so disconnected by, just teaching those things instead of... And when they would drop to VFX, it would have been, okay, Blade Runner or Jurassic Park. And we're talking about films from 20 years ago at the time. So, I think things have changed, of course, now. You have an entire YouTube generation. You have TikTok. You have, like, Instagram. You have so many people generating online courses and generating things that things are just like really different.
And just to make it clear, I love to see a variety of courses. Some of them it's great that people can choose very academic courses, very research-based courses. And the purpose of the original handbook was not to sort of say to everybody, you must teach this way, you must be industry focused, but to offer that as a possibility.
Exactly.
And say, this is the voice of the industry. There's an industry out there. This is their voice. They wrote this. And in fact, that's why I kind of always I'm a bit creeped out when people say I'm the author of this, because I say I'm the collator. I put it all together. Yeah. It's over 100 voices from industry wrote this current.
I know, Saint, but it wouldn't have happened without you. So that's why, because you've gathered all these people and you pushed them on the meetings and sent the emails and made it happen. So you're still the author in a way that it wouldn't have happened without you. So you know, I think that's important to state as well. Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to enter, but maybe let's have a look at the book and let's go through it. And I have a couple of questions from it as well. And so for this, I'm gonna do something I've never done before. So let's try this. So I'm gonna like share my screen. Hopefully this works. I'm just gonna do this real quick. So give me just 1 second. So you're probably seeing my screen now, aren't you? You're probably seeing my screen. Yeah. So I have something that I'm gonna try now for people to watch. I'm not showing to people yet, but I will in a minute. So I have like a book cam. Look at that. How fancy is that? So I have like a book cam. I just switched it on, and I'm gonna just like swap it around here, and hopefully this works. Yeah. You see it, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna make it here for people to watch. So people are not seeing it yet, but they will in a minute. Bear with me, everyone. I am a one-man broadcast show, so it takes a bit of time to organize everything. So just bear with me, okay? So I've managed to put us in the corner here as well, so we can talk. Okay, so this is. Oh, so maybe turn on the light. So that's the book, right? So handbook. Core Skills of VFX Handbook. We'll go to the PDF in a second as well, but this is the physical version. And so this book, of course, as I talked during when I was promoting this book basically is divided by chapters, right? So tell me a little bit about this. Like, these are the chapters that you like you said. Here's all the people that were collaborating. There's 100 people here. Everyone from artists, from studio heads, from people from the industry have helped you in this journey. And you guys basically, well, me too, I'm also here, but all of us kind of like reach this conclusion of these chapters, which are what we would call the things that you need to know as a visual effects artist. So how does this came to be? Is these chapters, or are they already existing on the other versions, or are they brand new? How did you reach the conclusion that we needed these chapters?
Yeah, so in the first version, we decided to try and do it in a
sorry.
linear...
I'm so sorry, guys. Everyone just told me, am I showing something? No, I wasn't. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mikhail. So this is the book I was showing. I think everyone now can see it. I apologize, Saint. I forgot to press the button. That's what happens when I don't have a director to direct me, you know.
Yeah, at least you've got buttons to press. I've got no buttons.
I think everyone can see the book now. So that's the book I was showing. I was showing my fancy book camera, but I wasn't really. And I was just telling people that, just going to show it again. So this is the list of people that were part of it. A lot of familiar faces here, a lot of familiar names, especially in the UK industry, of course, because this is very much a UK-based thing, a UK-based book. But yeah, as I was saying, like, how did you guys got into understanding these would be the chapters that you needed to teach, you know?
Yeah, again, it's historical. We started off, Ian and myself, in the first version in 2010 of trying to do a sort of almost like a linear way in which an image might travel through a VFX process in a kind of way. The order itself is different now, and it's also had chapters added to it. So the last version was 62 pages or something. This is 112 pages because VFX has expanded in scope as well, and it's got a lot more sophisticated, and the kind of things you need to know as a new entrant have grown as well. So those chapters are really decided by the industry themselves, and we had a lot of talk about some chapters about whether these days they were kind of relevant, but in the end we stuck to those, and we added about 4 new chapters towards the end. They're not in any particular order because of importance or anything like that, but we just found it helps to kind of describe the landscape of the VFX industry. And again, it may change in future versions. This time round, for instance, I'm sure we're going to talk about this. The new chapters, one of them is called People, which was never in the first one, because the industry has got a lot more sophisticated in terms of HR, human resources, and looking after its people. Maybe partly because of after COVID, but also because of maybe competition. But that's a new chapter that was added because we wanted people who are curious or inspired about VFX to know that it is an industry that it's not about, lots and lots of ranks of computers and you sit there and you slog away the 24/7 and then you spat out the other end. There is an industry that has HR procedures now and has ways to sort of help you with mental health and well-being. So it has developed, and those chapters, there's a lot of them, and they're almost falling off the page. But maybe the next year, there are always requests for new chapters on different parts of the world of VFX, and there were a couple of chapters we almost put in, which we just couldn't with the time available.
It's really important. This chapter is really remarkable. I'm like really touched by this because we have so many problems with mental health, and we have so many problems with people struggling. And in fact, I didn't mean to make a plug. I really apologize for that, but I don't know if you read this magazine. And so this is the magazine from the Back2 Union here in the UK, and it has a really tough to read article about creatives under pressure, where it talks about, it's a survey that they did about mental health in the industry right now. And this is really stark. Like I'm going to do a stream about this in a minute, in some time. But basically, they reached the conclusion that basically, I think it's 60% of people, 60% of the 3,000 people said that they had some kind of depression or anxiety right now. So this is like really huge numbers, huge numbers of depression and anxiety for what's happening. And so I really recommend people reading. I think this article is available online as well for free, and I will be doing a stream about it. But it's really, and yeah. So if anyone wants to know, this is from the Back2 Union, which has a website. I think it's back2.co.uk. I think, but expect a stream at some point. I'm gonna see if I can invite someone from the Back2 Union to talk about it. But it's really amazing that you actually brought this through from mentoring purpose with talking to people and working remotely in communication. This is really important. And I also love that you guys actually put in some links, and you put in some links for people to go in and get some help, and also to see things and to read further. So this was really good. I think this is really important. And I think sometimes I keep drumming this. I keep, talking about this in my streams, because I think a lot of times our industry forgets about these things, and they just kind of go into the cycle of award season and awards and tapping in the back, and never really talk about the human factor and also the human pain that comes through working like this and working in these conditions, and not having a job safety, and working with long hours, and especially now with the entire industry with the no CGI trend and everything, it's quite tough right now. So I'm really happy that you guys put this in. This is amazing, and I congratulate you for actually putting this in, because
and I think you whether you call it Gen Z or not, got to what the industry has come to understand over the years is that actually it now has competition. Young people have choices about careers, and they can choose something in the creative industries. It doesn't have to be VFX, and young people don't necessarily want to do that thing of like slaving sort of 24/7 for months on end to see the name in a credit on a film. So I think it used to be the case that the industry maybe had a bit of kind of in the early noughties sort of thought, well, we don't have to look after people because they're all desperate to work on Star Wars, and they'll come to us and we don't have to sort of worry too much about them. But that's changed now. There is a competitiveness, and there's a sense of understanding that working on short-term projects is stressful, because there's always a deadline, there's always cuts to be made and things to be changed, and it's very different from a lot of other careers where you clock in 9 to 5, or if you stay a bit later, at least what you're doing, you get paid overtime, etc. So the industry is changing. I think that message wanted to come across, and that's why we did the people thing. It's not a 9 to 5 industry, no one claims it is, but the rewards in terms of your own fulfillment can be huge, as long as you look after yourself and understand that there is support for you as well in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's that together with the people's chapter that you put in, but also the production chapters that you also have as well, which are really interesting as well, because a lot of people, I really want to tap into something that you just mentioned, which was there's other tasks in the industry that people can do. I think sometimes people forget this, that it's not just artists. You need production coordinators, you need producers, you need all sorts of other people around. I even go into a fact, like I'll never forget when I was working at the mill, and the person that was the accountant of the company, even they were so happy to be there because they loved film and they loved filmmaking, but they had no clue how to do it, and they had no clue how to get into film, they were not artists, but they had an accounting degree, so they sign up to be an accountant in film companies, which in a way, like, you're part of it. You're still part of the company. You're an important part and pivotal part of the company. You're not directly doing the art and not directly working with the artists, but hey, accounting is really important for these companies. So
yeah. And I think
found it was fascinating to talk with this person about that.
Yeah, and with this chapter particularly, we'd spotted that people can go on VFX or animation courses and a degree course, for instance, and over 3 years come to the conclusion that they're never going to be an artist, but they're really interested in organization, they're really interested in teamwork, they're really interested in bringing talented people together. And producers and production assistants and coordinators. And so that's why we wrote this chapter, because to make sure people understood that, if you go through a course and at the end you go, I don't think I'm cut out for being an artist, there are so many other options open to you as well. And if you've got that organizational head, the industry desperately wants you. So, and I'd just like to say, a couple of people from the industry were really responsible for writing a lot of that. I don't want to mention names because there's lots of people included, but certainly Milk and ILM people were responsible for helping write that. And just quickly, I must say this: what you're reading is industry's voice, and some people. Another chapter, for instance, is about 4 pages long in this. But the people who responded from industry wrote, there's 2 of them in particular, wrote 25 pages of information. And I was had the unenviable job of trying to narrow it down, because this isn't about teaching you everything about VFX. It's about inspiring you and giving you a direction. We don't teach you how to use Houdini. Yeah. We don't teach you how to use Nuke. We tell you where to go to get the best quality Nuke and Houdini knowledge and skills.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny that what you were saying, like when I was teaching at Campus at 12, every year at the end of the course was 2 years old, 2 years, and at the very end, the last few months of the course, we would do this thing where we would do a short film. I did 5 of them with my students, and the short film would be basically splitting the entire class. It was 40 people, the students, the class, and we'd split them up into simulation artists and FX artists and compositors and CG artists and modelers, and basically just split them up into whatever kind of role that they would like to have in the future. And there was always people that wanted to try production and production coordination, and also like to produce this short film, you know. And not only that, like not just production coordination, but also like organizing, being on set, doing first AD, doing those kind of things. And it's funny enough that when we did those short films on that school, it really triggered quite a lot of people to move to that direction. And in fact, still to this day, there's a lot of people that discovered that they wanted to be producers by doing those short films. And they were good 3D artists. Like some of those people were actually really good at in 3D, but they just enjoyed much more the connection and talking and organizing and spreadsheeting. And they just enjoyed a lot more, basically, the handling the human side, also the politics around it, and they just really were enamored by it, you know. And I think I really would love for schools to focus on that as well. Like I really feel that schools should try to, you know, experiment with their students a bit more, and maybe do those things, do short films and do productions, real productions, where they can split people up. And I know some schools do, but not all schools do, you know. So that's a really interesting point that you were making there. I need to add. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say also, you know, people don't understand necessarily how difficult it can be to work in a team. You know, and learning the way you interact with other people, how you negotiate, how you do things. That's something that you can't get from textbooks. You have to do it. And the successful courses, I think, are the courses like you were saying there, who bring people together, and they suddenly find out how difficult it is to work in a team in terms of, you know, sharing goals and letting your ego sort of, pulling your ego back, etc. And it's incalculable. And I'd also sort of say that a lot of the best courses are courses which do that and put students, maybe some students might feel outside their comfort zone because all they want to do is they want to learn Houdini or Nuke very well. But to be put in a situation where you're working with a team, that's how the industry works. What you're learning there is pure gold. Yeah. So, people need to remember that.
My favorite chapters of the book, I've now read the entire book, and my favorite chapters of the book are actually the first ones, the acquisition for VFX, those chapters, and especially the beginning where you have the acquisition for VFX, the introduction to VFX, and the foundation. The main reason why I love these chapters is because you guys are actually talking about the standards, the industry standards, because that is something that I think a lot of people are starting to be aware online, that a lot of times when you watch YouTube videos and you watch YouTube classes, they might not be the correct standards that the industry is looking for. You know, it might be really good, the tutorial, it might be really nice, and the content creator might be, you know, have really good intentions, but it could provide the wrong idea of how something is done in the industry. And so I love the way that you guys break down how the acquisition is, and which cameras, what formats, and who handles what, and what type of HDRs. And this is a really, really important step of the book. And this is information that is not very public. Usually, you don't really know a lot about this, because this is stuff that happens on set, and it's stuff that happens on the bowels of a company, you know, like the digitizing and the ingesting of the company. And it's not something that exists on a YouTube channel, or because first of all, the YouTuber or the content, nothing against YouTubers, I'm a YouTuber, it's just that if they haven't worked on a company, they won't know. That's the thing. Like I think I keep telling to my students always all the time that at least once in your life, even if you don't like it, even once in your life, please go to a company to work, a big company. Even if it's just a year, you will learn so much. That year will be 10 years of your learning steps, you know. Like, and I tell you this from experience. My 5 years at the mills feel like 15 years, you know. Like I felt like, well, maybe because I worked too long, but but I felt like the information I learned while I was there doesn't exist anywhere. There's no book about it. There's no magazine about it. Like, there's those minutia things, and you guys tap into some of it. Of course, you don't talk about everything, but it's remarkable that this information is actually here. And this is my favorite part, and mainly because this is where everything goes wrong. You know, like often on my productions and the productions that I worked, both at the mill, at Sony, at Fire Smoke, at Nexus, at Jellyfish, all of them the problems always occurred at the acquisition level. It was always like that. Either something wasn't shot correctly, or the footage wasn't there, or it was the wrong format, or the color space was wrong, or the resolution was wrong, or the DOP didn't do what we needed, and it was always there. We were always then, for the rest of the production, battling those fights because of the problems that occurred at the very beginning. And so for it to be here and for people to be aware of it is already a huge step on moving forward to having a much more sustainable acquisition pipeline in this industry, you know. So
yeah, and I think you were there at the Frame Store focus group that we had, and this came up quite a lot at the focus groups we had. And you know, I'm no expert and no technical expert by any means with this stuff, so I do rely on people to tell me stuff, and I'll faithfully write it down. But there's lots of debates about this, because this is a world in itself. You know, you could write a book about this, but we had to write just enough so people were aware, as you were saying, of the importance of the image that comes to you as the VFX artist. You know, has to conform to certain standards, and when it leaves you, it has to also conform to certain standards. And you know, my head was swimming at the Frame Store focus group, because there's so many ideas and so many things. And I'm just glad we got it to where it is, and I'm sure it'll change over the years as we move forward. But you know, I'm glad we've got it in there.
My main thing that I would tell everyone, of course, you guys have like a bunch of books here and a bunch of links where people can go and move forward to learn more about this. But I must say, and you have an image of Jay here, like from Cave Academy. Cave Academy has not paid me to do this, but I just have to tell everyone on the chat that I think Cave Academy is by far the best place to learn about this. Like Jay is doing an amazing job in that sense of showing acquisition and how to handle files and HDRs and how to, on that first beginning of the industry. And I think his courses and his panels and his content and his website, he has a lot of free content as well. People should really go there, because I think for me it's like an industry standard. He's doing an amazing job there, and I'm really happy that he's featured here, and that I see that he's doing that. You know.
Well, I was just going to say about photographs, and you know, I'm so pleased with the donations of images this time round, because the first time, 2010, you know, we tried to get images from all the big post houses, and there was a lot more hassle to go through, because they were worried about what Warner Brothers would think if an image was. But this time round, you know, maybe it's just because, you know, people know me and know the format. People are much more welcoming to send me fantastic images, which hopefully will also inspire people to sort of get involved with VFX. And Jay was great, because, you know, I asked him if I could use some of his images. He said, "Sure, help yourself. Here's a link." which is you know, part of the openness and community of VFX and the community level. And of course, the famous picture of you we're going to see in a minute, aren't we? Come on.
This is Bjorn, by the way. This is Bjorn, is one of my VFX supervisors, and he works a lot with me. And this is when we were shooting on Zeiss. So so thank you so much for featuring photos of us. And there you go. No one knows, maybe no one knows this, but this is me. I think I've showed this many times. So I do a cameo on the commercial. This was a commercial I directed for Zeiss lenses for the Cinecraft scenario, and I didn't ask them because I was directing it. I just said, no, I'm doing a cameo, and I'm on the video. Yeah, so I'm sure, I don't know if they like it or if they're happy about it, but you know, I'm directing this, so I can do an Alfred Hitchcock thing if I want to. But yeah, this is me. I show up on the video as the green man, the green guy. Everyone, of course, notices that I have my shoes, my colorful shoes there. So that's the first thing that happened when I was like handling this book at the launch that we did at Cinesite, and everyone was like, someone was flipping the book with me, and I said, "Oh, this is you, isn't it? I can see it from the shoes." It's like, and I don't think I had these particular shoes on that day, but I had some really colorful shoes as well at the same time. I think it was like the green ones from Toy Story. These are the Simpsons ones, but yeah, I do like my colorful shoes. But yeah, thank you so much for featuring that image. That really cracked me up of having that. No, the images are great, and the images also make the cool thing about these images, and you're using really, really big productions on this book, is also that it gives a lot of inspiration. And people go through this book, and maybe even for younger people, younger people maybe can show this to their parents, and the parents will recognize some of the image, and even just by looking at them, they'll recognize, oh, okay, you work in VFX and you get to work on these shows and you get to work on these really fancy productions. And I really, really put the hat out, because you guys managed to get some of the most advanced productions that have happened in the last few years. And so it's really cool that you've actually brought that into the book. It's really important from a optics point of view to have all these images. It also gives it a lot of it gives it a stamp of approval, it gives it a stamp of quality, because you're watching these images, you have Dune here, like, okay, well, these guys are probably talking about something, since Dune is actually here, and it's actually they gave the frame, so that's really important, I think,
The other thing about the pictures that I felt was important this time round was to have pictures of people from the community enjoying themselves and being sociable, because previously it was just shots of blockbusters, and that's great, but certain people will go, oh, I could never do that stuff, and cancel themselves out. Whereas if you show pictures of people enjoying themselves and being part of CG 101 or a Visual Effects Society event, or a Frame Store or DNEG social event, or their Next Gen Skills Academy with Amy Smith, it lets you know that you could be part of this community.
Yeah, and Access VFX here as well, which Simon is on the chat, so thanks so much for being here, Simon. Shout out to Access VFX. They're doing an amazing job.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know what you mean. Like, it just gives a face to the people working. Now, here's the thing. I have a couple of more questions myself, and then I'll open it to the chat. But before I go into the AI question, because I think it's gonna lead into it. It's gonna lead into it. One of the first things that I wanted to ask you is, we've already talked about the importance of knowing the standards, because of so much noise that exists online and so many courses that might not be the highest quality that you probably could imagine. But I noticed that you still have, this is going to be a sticking point, not for me, but for a lot of people, but there's still a lot of content about matte painting, rotoscoping and painting in roto and paint in rig removal here. Now, obviously, these days, a lot of people think that this is dead, and that, that the industry is never going to go back, and rotoscoping is not really going to exist anymore. And I really wanted to ask you about this, because you've talked with hundreds of people. I already know this answer, but maybe not everyone on the chat knows. You've talked with hundreds of people. Do you still see roto? Do these people, all these people that are working in the industry, do they still see the matte and roto and paint as an entry level to the industry? Is that still a viable journey to someone getting into this industry?
I think it can be in terms of making work for your reel. I think it can also be for showing that you understand the craft and the instead of thinking about everything being automated. So it's still there because people wanted it to still be there. This is obviously based on previous versions, but the way it worked, apart from the focus groups, what we had Google Docs that people could share and have access to. So I shared those docs, and those 100 people from industry looked over those, and we edited whatever was there, and they added new material. So whatever's still there from previous is there for a reason, and I think that's the message I'd send out. That although a lot of these things could be, you could sort of say, well, in 6 months' time, AI will eat this for breakfast, blah 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 blah. Nevertheless, people still wanted people to show those kind of skills and be involved and be aware of them.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I agree with you, and I agree with you, and I think it should be here. And this was a big topic of contention on something we did together, which was the AI panel we did on my anniversary. This came up, the discussion of is the entry level still even valid? And some people on the panel thought that no, that roto is pointless, and that you don't have to do it. And My opinion is different. I have the opposite opinion. I think it's still very valid for you to learn how it works. I always give the same comparison to my iPhone. You know, if I have an iPhone, I don't know which number it is now, 17, 16 or whatever. I don't know which number it is right now. I have an old iPhone. I have like an iPhone SE. So I'm not a big thing of buying iPhones, but I think it's like the 17 right now. If you have one of those, like, you can take some remarkable pictures. You can take some amazing photos with it, because it's pretty much automated, and it's pretty much, it auto sharpens it, and it auto exposes it, and auto stabilizes it, and it becomes the best version of the photo that you can ever do. But then you get a JPEG out of it. That's it. Like, you get a JPEG and that's it. Like, it looks fine, but it's like basically a merged JPEG with an HDR look to it. Yeah. And it's still valid for you to pick up a real Canon camera with a reflex lens, and or a censored lens, of course, and put a real lens on it, and and take the picture and actually learn how the ISO works, and how the shutter speed works, and how the f-stop works, and then create any custom photo you need, and then still be raw for you to still edit it. So I think that's my comparison. Yes, I can take the photo on the iPhone and it looks terrific, but if I want to go deeper into that photo, I might need to take it on a step where I know how to take the photo. It's the same. And also, this comparison goes even beyond. If, for example, if you want to take a photo on the iPhone, the maximum zoom you're going to have is a 4+. You know, if I pick up one of my Canon, like one of my big bazooka lenses, I have like a 300mm lens over there on my shelf. I can take a picture with 300mm, which is not even possible on an iPhone. So there's a lot of things that exist on a technical level that you still need to know. And even if automation comes along, you'll still need to how to operate it, because even if you have everything done automatically for you, even if you have generative AI and even have AI tools that do rotoscoping and painting for you, what happens if there's a mistake, or if there's a problem, or if there's like a glitch on the roto, or if you still need to fix it further, or if you need, like, that's the question I always tell my students. You will still need to know how to get in there and fix it. So, I think that's why we see this still present on the book. I don't think it's because it's been written by old people. I don't think that's the reason. I don't believe that, because some of the names on this list that you have here, they're very much relevant on the industry. They're still supervisors. They're still working in a very high level in this company. And if they if they were old men screening at clouds, they wouldn't be on those positions. So
And there's a reason why we still talk about craft of VFX, and that's because you want to tell a story through your image. You want to have an intention. Just taking a photograph and it's all automated doesn't allow you to itemize or access just single things, like play around with the lighting, or as you say, the ISO or the focal length or whatever. Play around with those things to give an emotional meaning to your image. If you devolve everything to the machine, then you lose that ability to communicate with nuances, which is what VFX actually is about. VFX, all the great films, there's nuance, there's shades of gray, there's kind of a way of composing an image which gives an emotional impact, and all those things come from humans being able to alter the elements in an image and isolate various images and play around with them.
Exactly.
And that's obviously that's also the worry about AI, and I'm sure we'll get on to that. But
to getting even deeper into that, like Mr. Someone on the chat here on YouTube, Mr. Keyframes, some wonderful name. So Mr. Keyframes was telling, cameras are overcomplicated. I think the future will be pretty much point and shoot, and then adjusting the f-stop ISO after in post. So, Mr. Keyframes, I agree with you, but I also, you see, even yourself answered your own question. Like, yeah, sure, you can have all of that and adjust it in post. But if you don't know what an f-stop is, or if you don't know what an ISO is, what are you adjusting? You don't even know what those things do. So I kind of feel like you still need to have some core skills about it and some base skills to even be able to operate with those post-production effects that exist on the camera. And also, I had this really long conversation with a lot of people in the industry about, Soras come in, so why would you even care about filming, and why do you even need to go in shooting? And I always I had this conversation with my wife as well a couple of weeks ago as well, and she really had a really great point, which was, okay, that's all really cool for film and everything, but what about live TV? What about comedy? What about concerts? What about documentaries? Like, you still have to go and shoot them. It's not like you're gonna GenAI a documentary. You're not gonna generative AI a music concert. It's like you still have to use a camera, go there, shoot it for real, interview the person, do the behind the scenes. You still have to know how to operate the cameras and do all of that work. So I still feel like for anything that has to do with something that is, especially for improv, especially comedy. Comedy, I think, is a really good example. Improvisation in comedy really happens on set, because when actors are feeding from each other. I mean, you live here in the UK. I'm sure you know the program. Like, just look at the TV show, the Buzzcocks TV show. I mean, on that TV show, sometimes they go off the deep end with a joke, and it just goes beyond anything they had on the script. It just goes berserk, and then everyone just goes crazy with other jokes, and they just feed from each other. That is just not something you can produce in GenAI, because you would have to tell the generative AI system what the improv joke would already be, but then it's not improv. So it's like all of this discussion. I really loved having that conversation with my wife, with Anna, because I really felt that she really tapped into something here. There's all this other stuff that we still need to do. I mean, and that will still need to exist. We can't generate everything. We just can't. And also, some directors will still want to do it for real with actors, and some directors will still want to do the theatrical journey of having the actors there doing the rehearsals and then shooting something. Maybe it will replace the simpler stuff, like the commercials, which are a bit more erratic, and they are a bit more figured out, and it's a bit more marketing based. But anything that has some kind of scope of humanity, or some kind of comedy centric, or something that has to do with improvisation, how are you gonna do that? I don't know. I just feel that I still feel that there's still something to learn here, and people are still gonna be surprised by the amount of work that will still exist on all these things.
That's right. I think it's, as you know, any great VFX shot, the first 90% is easy, but the last 10% of finishing it and getting it refined is the important thing. And that's it may well be that AI helps us with the first 90%, but you'll still need the human eye and the human heart to actually perfect and finish the shot. So getting on to AI and why
that's on my list, which is the elephant in the room. So let me just put that page up. So, hey, Saint, where is the AI?
Yeah, okay. Of course, this was a big debate, and of course, as a moment in time, which all this can be is a moment in time. It's not this handbook. It's not a prediction. It's not a historical document in that way, but or looking at major trends. And in fact, as Neil Hatton, who from the UK Screen, who are the funders of this, and all props to him for funding this, said, virtual production for the VFX students is chapter on page 87. A few years ago, if we'd written this, say, 3 years ago, we'd have gone, everything's going virtual production. It's going to be so big. Everybody's going to have, the screens and the setups, etc., and we'd have written half the book about virtual production. So that's in a way explaining why there's no AI section in this, because we asked industry, and they just thought there's too much fluidity at the moment, so it wouldn't make sense to actually include an AI chapter, because maybe you could say comfy UI is becoming a standard, but apart from that, everything's so fleeting. And actually, AI is mentioned throughout the document by people sort of saying, hey, here's like rotoscoping you mentioned. People are saying, there are AI solutions coming up, but at the moment we don't trust them. So it is mentioned, AI is mentioned, but it doesn't have its own chapter yet. Maybe in a year's time it will, as things solidify. Who knows?
It's really important for people to understand that the real visual effects industry, not the hyped one on Twitter, on X or whatever, still call it Twitter, but not the hype machine that happens. The real industry of doing the actual shots and the films that come out is very slow to adapt anything. And so we going through cycles, things have to be proven and things have to really, really work. It's the same exact thing you just said about visual production. There was all this hype train, and visual production is very used in the in the industry. Yes, it is, but only for certain things because it's very expensive and it's very hard to maintain. And I just had that discussion just with Christian Mantz. He was here on I interviewed him for the Visual Effects Notes podcast. He was here on my room. And we were talking about that, why didn't you use virtual production on How to Train Your Dragon, since they had all these footage of them flying with the dragons, and they decided to go with blue screen. And his answer was really, well, first of all, there was no virtual production place big enough for this, for the wide lenses. The other thing was that it was incredibly expensive. Like, it was so expensive that it was not even worth it. And the third thing is, like, we would have to have everything prepared and everything ready before the shoot, and we didn't really knew yet exactly what will be there on the backgrounds because they were not done, or the production wasn't really on that stage yet, and so they only had some. And so if they would have shot it with virtual production, they would have ended up rotoscoping it anyway, and so it would have become double the cost. And I feel the same. I feel that even when I shot this commercial for Zeiss and I did it on virtual production, we only had one day on virtual production, and it was so expensive to shoot just that day. And we had like a special deal, and it was so expensive that it became like, wow, okay, well, I really need to think really careful if I can really use this in a specific production that I might be able to pull it off. I think it's the same with AI. I am a bit skeptic about it. Mainly, I'm skeptic because I still need to see. I've always been used to working in the industry where it takes years for us to really understand if the pipeline is going to work or not. And so for me, yes, ConfUI looks fine, and Copycat looks fine as well. It's already being used in production. Copycat is actually an example of maybe something more used than anything else. ConfUI is now happening more and more lately. But is it really still, until I see real productions and real big companies really using it to a deep level, and that could take 3, 4, or 5 years, I'm not going to risk. I think you did a really good job there, because it would be too risky for you to write an entire chapter about ConfUI and then suddenly ConfUI is bought by Google and it disappears or something, whatever. I just feel that we need to wait. We need to wait to see what happens. And no disrespect to everyone making online courses about it right now, but I just feel it's too early. It's too early for you to do an industry standard online course about that, because we don't know yet exactly how it's going to be used,
And I think what people don't understand in terms of structural use, because there's still legal battles over the black boxes of AI, and VFX companies don't like to use black boxes that put stuff in the cloud, for instance. But because of that, there's a huge amount of risk, and also the risk is that in a few years' time, due to court cases, the AI stuff that they might use will be unengineered or re-engineered, and we'll understand what's inside the black box, and it might prove to be litigious. In other words, the huge court cases over the rights to various material. So because of that wariness about using AI, because of those black boxes, no one knows what's in them and what they're doing. There is a reticence to use AI in lots of ways. That is changing. There is LLMs you can use with air gaps away from the internet, etc. But people don't. If you look at LinkedIn and all the tech bros there sharing this changes everything stuff, that you don't understand that actually in terms of structure, in terms of using AI, there's considerable risks.
Yeah, there is, and also not to mention that, and things are moving forward. You saw Netflix have delivered their guidelines. Netflix have always been very upfront. If anyone really wants to know how to grade and how to ingest footage and how to have standards of filming and quality of images, and Netflix does an amazing job. The educational side of it with all the PDFs and all the documentations is amazing. And I think Netflix has now produced a document about what they allow on GenAI and what they allow with AI and with LMs and what they allow and what they don't allow. And it's very clear, and it's very much only really things that are not part of those court cases and things that are black box, like you said. And I think until that's sorted, no one is really, even if they use it and don't talk about it, it would be very, I think it would be very dangerous for you guys on this book to have put it in. Because as soon as you would have put it in, people would be like, okay, well, we're just going to use AI now. And that would be it. They just would like jump into it right away. And because they would see it as a stamp of approval to use it. And I feel like all of us need to be reticent, and all of us need to look into it and investigate it and see the ethical side of it and see what's really going on behind the hood. And really be careful as well with our own productions so that we don't get with problems later on. And I really agree. I'm sure you're going to put in a chapter in a year or 2 years from now. And that's why this is, actually, this is a good point for me to actually show the digital version of this. Maybe I'll do that because there is a digital version, and that's why it will. And so this book will become, of course, out of date. It is what it is. But there is a digital version, and I actually and it's a really fancy. It even has a sound. It's so cool.
I know. I love that sound. I can't get enough.
I know, it's amazing. Oh, I can't. I thought I could. Thought I could have you at the same time as this thing, but I can't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna zoom in. So unfortunately, because if I put full screen, it doesn't.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to put this window always on top.
Whilst you're doing that, I'll just want to say something on that kind of idea of AI being a window in time. And of course, AI, artificial intelligence, and usually we're talking about machine learning, not AI, but it's a bit of a misnomer. But let's not go there. But AI kind of kicked off really with the Dartmouth conference on AI in 1953, but it wasn't until 2022 when ChatGPT came out that things really took off. So it's been a short period of time when the current AI era has been going. So things haven't settled down yet and stabilized enough for us to sort of really be able to sort of say to new entrants, here's what you need to know. But and I think that's an important thing. This is a kind of a document which is about what you need to know. And at the moment, there's no real set principles of AI that you need to know to work in the VFX industry. However, fully support anybody who's experimenting or playing with AI.
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely. No, I do as well. I also support it, and I think people should be aware of them, and they should test them, and they should do all those things. That's really important for our industry to advance, because if we as artists don't try them out, we will never find out if they are actually good for us or not. And so that is the main thing really to be here. I just really tell everyone to just be a bit careful. That's the thing. Okay, so we now have this on, and so this is a lovely website you guys made, and I'm going to put the link again on the chat. So the core skill book is available here. That's the website. I'm putting it on both chats, both the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat. It's free to download. You can download it as a PDF, or if you want, you can have this fancy version with the sound. People hear the sound. That's why I'm putting it in.
Oh, but by the way, talking about AI, I was with Neil Hatton, the CEO. There he is. He gave the forward to the book. Talking about AI, and he admitted that's an AI image of him.
No, he did not.
He did, seriously. He fed in some images of him, and then AI came up with his image of him standing in the street in a suit for some reason. But anyway,
oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that at all. Like, that's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna do this because this book is fighting me on this
Okay.
website, and I'm trying to show it. So what I will do is I'll just open the PDF because the PDF is just gonna be easier for me to handle because it's just gonna be a bit easier to do it. So I'll
Yeah,
just
and
do that.
all your audience there have the URL, so they can go there themselves. So
Exactly.
yeah,
So
great.
I'll just open the
And,
PDF. I think it'll be
and
easier.
special thanks to Mafalda Jack for first of all doing the layout for the handbook, but also sorting out the website as well. It's just a single page. It's nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. And I'm very grateful to her for doing that, because like 2 weeks before this was due to be launched at CineSite, I had no idea how we were going to put it online, but she sorted it out. So
Yeah, so this is now the PDF version, which is like you said, Ian, like you said, Saint, you guys are gonna update this, I guess. And
yeah.
how does that work? Like, do you have an email blast for everyone? Does it have like a place where people can sign up for in case it changes? Like, how do we know that there's a version 2? How do we know?
Those are questions I don't know the answer to. I'm kind of still in a coma from finishing this on the deadline I was given. But yeah, the idea is the website will update. In terms of the copies, by the way, the physical copies, there was only 50 ever printed so far, because I couldn't afford any more. So those people who are winning copies, there's only 50 of the damn things at the moment. But yeah, the idea is to have an online presence which will be updated. Maybe we'll just call it version 2 or whatever, or just give it a date so people will know. People can go back there and check the updates. And I've already had a couple of suggestions for updates from people, and also a few names I missed off from the thanks to, because the contributors were many and various, so I need to put some more names in there as well.
So Saint, do you want me? I have a few questions here on the chat. Should we jump
Yeah,
into them?
yeah.
So I have a
Sure.
question here from Simon, from Access VFX.
Oh no, is it a difficult one?
It's a long one. So I'll just copy paste it here so that you can also read it out as well. And so you had to do it in 3 posts because it didn't get into one single. I think there's a character limit. So I've copied it into the chat of our discussion here. So if you want to go through the question here, so want me to read it? So
I'm just reading through it now, but if you want to read it to the audience, yeah.
Yeah. So Simon, because it was a while ago. So Simon says, "Hi Saint, in the handbook, you highlight how the VFX industry has evolved since the last edition. Now, not just technologically with real-time tools and AI, but culturally with Zen Z valuing community, well-being, and social connection. How do you see VFX education balancing the art technical skills of production with those emerging people skills that define the new creative generation?" That's his question.
Yeah, and I think Simon, the answer to that is a lot of people gain skills through degree courses, especially in the UK, but also further education courses like diplomas, and those institutions are getting a lot better at dealing with people as opposed to bums on seats and numbers. And certainly at University of Hearts, where I am, there are whole members of staff to help out people in terms of well-being and social connection. And in terms of the courses themselves, the days of like, that image of horrible image of pâté foie gras, where they force geese to eat food by just shoving it down the horrible image. But they used to do this to fatten up the geese. They used to force feed them until they got really big, and then they'd kill them and make pate out of them. Anyway, sorry, I should have brought that image up.
Thanks so much, Saint. I'm a vegetarian, so that was great. Thank you.
But the point I was making, in a 3-year course or a 1-year course, you can't keep stuffing stuff into it. And the images, the work we need these days, or people need to know, the level of skills that you need and the sophistication you need to compete in the industry is more and more. There's, you can't put it all into a 3-year or a single year course. But I think universities particularly have got a lot better at dealing with people and integrating ideas of belonging and social cohesion into that. We mentioned also the idea of universities, which is my main experience, getting a lot better also at teamwork and understanding how to assess teamwork and how to assess people's soft skills, as they're called. We all hate the word soft skills, I know, and developmental skills, I think, is something that Simon's used before. But those skills, and including cognitive skills, they're all as important as knowing which button to press and which menu. So I'm very positive about the way things are going, and that's why we had those chapters at the end, the one on people skills, etc. It's a start, and so many people have said to me, it's really great that you're pointing out this thing about people. So people, hopefully courses will start to recenter themselves, so they're not just all about the tech, but rather they're about how you get a rewarding career. Because at the end of the day, you want people to have a rewarding career and to really be passionate about creativity. And you can only be passionate about creativity if you're relaxed and if you feel psychological safety. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah. I think it's a very positive. I mean, I might have rose tinted glasses on here, and I'm sure there are courses elsewhere which people feel very demoralized or alienated from, but I only see good things happening there, and hopefully the core skills of VFX Handbook is part of that ongoing march to make people aware of the people side of things.
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Thanks so much for the question, Simon. So I have another question here from Keep Calm, I'm in VFX. Thanks so much for being here, my friend. And so his question is, what do you think of the work of Metaphysic did on here? So I love these interventions that happen in films that you see and you go, wow, how do they do that, etc. And I think there'll always be surprising tools that are used by creative people. They'll find a way to use these things, there's companies like Flawless, for instance, another AI company, who are doing amazing stuff with transcriptions and being able to change the language of key characters in a film. Oh yeah, on their mouths, isn't it? I saw that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. That stuff is lovely. So I'm all for it, and I think responsibly used, as you mentioned Metaphysic particularly, that in a way becomes something that then other filmmakers go, hang on a second, I can use this, but I'll take it to the next level. And that's film has always done that. It does it with VFX, it does it with sound, it does it with film techniques, it does it with lenses. There's always something new which then becomes part of the ecosystem, and other artists will see it and build on that. So I loved it. Fine.
Yeah, me too. I thought the film was also really good. I really enjoyed the film as well.
Yeah, and it served the story, right? I mean, this isn't sort of like a spectacle, a Michael Bay type spectacle in the middle of a film, which you think, oh, what does that mean? But this went with the story, and story is king.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert Zemeckis has had a long history of doing that, of using really advanced VFX for his storytelling, as he did with all his films, especially some really special compositing tricks that he had on Contact, and of course on Back to the Future, and he's always been Polar Express as well, of course.
Which is at least an attempt at the time. I mean, it's Uncanny Valley, obviously, but at the time, and it's great that filmmakers do that, because only when you have a Polar Express can you eventually have an Avatar, I'd suggest.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I don't see any other questions. Does anyone have any questions for us, or they want to talk about anything? And I just want to take the opportunity that Saint is actually here physically, and we can take some questions and everything. I know people are going to post on comments on later on the VOD, but if you have questions, go for them now. Please feel free to ask.
I'd like to say also that one of the great things about having a physical copy is just the smell. I just love the smell of these things, which you don't get digitally.
And I know,
there's no way,
man.
There's no way we can do that.
I know, I'm sure someone is working on that, on having a little thing that you put on your nose. You know, a couple of years ago, as a joke, Ubisoft, big games company in France, they did it for E3. This was in 2017. And so they had a mock-up. It was a fake thing, of course, but it was a mock-up thing that you would put on your nose, and it was a smellinator. It was basically, you would be playing the game, and you would get the smells of the game. And this was then in purpose for the South Park game. And so every time they farted, or every time they did some really smelly things, you would get those smells. That was the idea. It never came to market. It was just a joke. But they had it on a little glass dome. They had it for people to watch and to see it. It was basically just a little mask that you would put on your nose, and then you would play the game. It would be synced on Bluetooth. It was so silly. It was so stupid. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. Ian was here on my office a few days ago, and he had such FOMO, man. He was like, "Oh, there's a magazine. Okay, there's a physical version. Where's where's mine?"
I'll send him. I will send him a copy all the way to the other side of the world. Yeah, so.
To the other, exactly.
Hey, I think, is he going to be at a View conference?
Yeah, he
is.
Week? Yeah.
I'll give him a copy there.
Yeah. He is. He's actually, I think he flew today already. And okay. Christian is there as well. I'm not going to View conference this year, but I've had enough of View conference. I've been there 3 times. It's fine.
Yeah.
So you need to. Mikhail says I need to read the book first to have more questions. It doesn't need to be about the book, guys. We can talk about other things, but we do have a question now. So I'm gonna pop it into the chat here so people can see it as well. So I have a question from I'm gonna butcher this sometime.
Heracles Bergsus.
I think that's how you pronounce it. I hope so. Do you have any advice regarding discipline while learning VFX as a beginner? It's a good question.
Okay. I kind of think when you're beginning your sort of journey to VFX, have and you've got an idea of why you want to get involved with the industry and why you want to be part of VFX. I think it's important to have patience, because it takes a number of years to get to levels that you probably see on the screen. And I remember sometimes on a course I used to run, a degree course in visual effects, I brought along the VFX supervisor for one of the Avengers films to speak to the students, and I thought they'd be amazed and they'd love it, etc. And after he'd gone, I asked them, "What do you think about it?" And they were very deflated, because they felt that they could never be as good as that. So they go, "Oh," because what they don't see, they only see his success with the Avengers films. They don't see the years of trial and error, the failures, the failures, all the stuff, and how over a period of time, over 25 years, he built up the experience to be that VFX supervisor and be at the top of his game. So I would say my advice is just to, think incrementally, think about small steps, and don't get too ambitious. Just start to learn the techniques, start to look at other artists' work, start to build your own community of people like you. There's a lot to be said for, if you're studying on your own, get on the forums and get to sort of know other people. Access VFX run a mentor scheme, for instance, and also you can ask questions there as well. But keep it, don't be put off by the fact that you're not the greatest artist in the first year.
Exactly.
Incremental small steps.
Man, I've done a stream about this a long time ago. It was last year's, it was the 9th year anniversary, where I showed all my show reels from the very beginning. and they sucked. Like my first showreel was horrible, and my second showreel was horrible as well. And it takes a long time. It takes really a long time for you to develop your skills and to get good. And the whole reason for me to show those showreels was really to show people like, okay, guys, I'm in this stage now, but it took me 25 years to get there. And I also had a rough start. Everyone has a rough start, you know, like I think you need to like evolve with that. And I had a lot of projects that were mistakes, and I had a lot of projects that didn't fell through, and a lot of decisions that weren't correct decisions. And I'm sure I will have a lot more, but I feel like the discipline really for me is basically just try yourself to just do it one step at a time, and slowly try, and also be around people that can support you with that as well. Like I felt, for example, like when I was younger, my dream was to work at the mill. I was like, oh, I wish I could work at the mill. And I always thought, no, I'm not good enough. I'm never going to get there. And my wife was the person, Anna was always telling me, no, you need to send it. Go for it. Like, send the showreel, do that, and keep going. And I sent the showreel, and I never got a response, and didn't really care. But I continued to evolve, and years later, I managed to become the head of composting at the mill. And so it can happen, you know, it can happen if you don't give up. But I can already tell you that if I hadn't had Anna, my wife, telling me this and supporting it as well, I would have probably given up. I was like, okay, well, I will never be able to do it. I'm going to just stay here in my Portuguese little town and do these little VFX for corporate videos and some design stuff for the local mayor. And that's what I was doing, you know, in the very beginning of my career. And I had this dream, but I always thought like, oh, it's unattainable. How do I even get there? But I always forget, and that's something that Anna didn't. Like, I was only 20, you know, like of course I don't know how to do it, you know, like I was 20, like how the hell would I be able to do it, you know? Maybe if I was in Portugal, so maybe if I was born in London, maybe it would have been a little bit easier, because I could have knocked on the door and maybe become a runner. I could have gone in, and at least that's something. And of course I know location and geography has a big role on this, of course. Less and less now. But it had, at the time it had, in the late 90s and the 2000s, I mean, you could literally knock on the door and try to get a job, and that was a possibility, which is not anymore. But I just tell people to just don't give up, and especially when I do the honest showreel reviews here on this channel, a lot of people have showreels with work that is not on top of the game, or it's not really amazing, but it doesn't matter, because they put the work out there, and it's a journey. It's a really long journey. It takes a while for you to get good and to get there, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, and Pericles also, I think, sort of, if you're doing something else, like a number of people get involved with VFX in their part time. You know, maybe they're working somewhere else. Maybe they've got a first job out of school, and it's working in a garage or something. Just make time every week to get involved and to get in touch with that. Don't just go, I'm too busy this week. Just do an hour. Just start and keep going. And make it a habit, so you don't just sort of fall off the wagon, because it's very easy to go, this week I'm too busy, I won't look at any VFX, I won't study Nuke, and then before you know it, a month has gone by and you've lost the will to live. So make a little bit of time every week.
Absolutely.
And Justin's asking a question there, and I'd just like to say the core skills of VFX Handbook has no recipes in it, unfortunately. Maybe next time round. Maybe we should have.
I know why Justin is asking this, and I'll go and get it. So I'm going to make a plug here. Just give me a second.
It's your wife, isn't it? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a very niche industry, the industry of Mediterranean cuisine and VFX.
So just so the audience knows, Justin Leduc asked, please ignore if this isn't the right place to ask, but does anyone know a good recipe book for Mediterranean cuisine? This might be an emergency. So here it is. So I've showed it many times on my stream. This is my wife's book. This is Green Recipes for All. It's a Mediterranean book. It's a vegetarian vegan book. It's really good, but I am biased though. It is my wife, but it has a lot of.
Yeah.
So Justin, I'll put the link on the chat if you need it. It's there for you. I'll put the link on the chat. I have it here. So it's available on all Amazons. Every Amazon in the world will have a copy either physically. You have a hardcover version. You have a paperback version, and you also have a digital version of the book as well. So there it is. It's a great segue. I did not pay Justin to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's given me an idea for the Core Skills with VFX Handbook 2026 anyway, so that's good.
Hey, if anything, everyone has to eat. If anything.
It's true. Yeah.
If anything. And if you think about it, think about all the FMXs we've been together and all the view conferences. What do you remember of them? The food. That's always what I remember. The dinners, Maria Lena's dinners, and all the food and the mushrooms and all the pizzas and all. That's what I remember. And also FMX, all that lavish gala dinner, with all the vegetarian food and everything. That's always what I remember from all those places, And I guess the drinking, maybe also the drinking, maybe. Okay, so I have another question, and this is a question from Who. The person is called Who. Who? Okay, so Who is asking, I'm a fresher with comp, prep, and roto in my reel. Should I make a separate reel for each to apply for a specific role or keep one combined? This is a topic that I answer many times on my stream, but you go ahead, Assign.
Yeah, so there's always a danger of segmenting too much, so you have lots of different reels and it gets confusing. What you want to show, it depends what role you're going for a start, but I would say let's see all of those things, the most important and the most thing that you're proud of first. Don't have too much in the reel. I mean, I'm so sure Hugo has done so much real sort of advice anyway. And if you are at View Conference, then I'm doing a session on Sunday on show reels as well. But anyway,
I did the math. I went and count them, and I have now done 125 showreel reviews online on streams.
It's the gift that keeps giving,
And on each of them, I have 2 to 3 showreels. So that's means 300 reels or so. No, I completely agree with you, and I also think it has to do with what you're applying to. Like if you're applying to a composting job, if you're applying to a composting job, then you must do a composting showreel, and there's no problem on applying to several places at the same time. So you can apply a composting reel to a composting position and a CG reel to a CG position. No one will know that you've applied to multiple places, and no one will ever know, and the companies don't know if you're applying. And I keep saying that to my students: apply to hundreds of places, don't apply to just 2 or 3. And so Saint, I have the best question.
I know. I see it there.
So this is for Nikki's. Joined the course. Nikki's is a regular on my stream. He comes to the stream many times. So thank you so much for being here, Nikki's. He's just asked, just joined 20 minutes ago. Who is Saint Walker?
Well, I don't know if you've heard of Tilly Norwood, but I'm the male AI bot version of Tilly Norwood. I'm a real big cheese in my line of work. I'm a really famous kind of guy in postgraduate education. No. So as I said before, my mission has been for many years to try and bring contemporary industry into education in lots of different ways, by designing VFX courses, by writing things, by creating events, and any place where VFX artists and the professionals can come to mix with new talent and people who are interested in getting the industry. That's what I'm all about. Yeah.
And of course, Nikki, thank you so much for joining now, but you can always go and rewatch the VOD. It's recorded. It's on YouTube. It's going to be there forever. But basically, we are here because we're talking about this book. I'm just putting it on the camera there for people to read. This is the book that Saint he's the author of this book. He's one of the organizers of this book. It's called the Core Skills VFX Handbook.
I'm not seeing it, so I don't know if you're...
No, you're not seeing it because... but people are. Don't worry. Sorry about that. So, so people are seeing it on the stream. So this is the book we're talking about. It's a free book. I've put the link on the chat there, on both the Twitch and the YouTube chat. This is a book that Saint collected with hundreds of people on the industry, and it's basically a really great book for any artist to read if they are in the industry, if they want to brush up on new topics, or if they want to just like learn what they need to learn to get into this industry. So that's why Saint is here on the stream. So this is a free book. Of course, this physical version doesn't really exist for sale, but it is a book that exists online. The link is there. Anyone can. People like the cover. He likes the cover.
And anybody who wants to sort of know what they should do in terms of getting into the industry or learning new stuff, it's a guide. It's a roadmap.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
people, for young, not I say young people but the majority of people are people who have finished studying maybe or still studying, who want to know.
Exactly. And so Saint has made this book is now the third iteration of this book. So if you go back and rewatch the stream, you'll know all about it. We've been going through the book, we've been reading the book and going through the topics of the book, and we are at the end of the stream now, but just go back and you can go through it at all as well. So
just quickly before what you said, we're almost at the end.
Well, I don't want to, I'm
sorry.
conscious of your time. I don't want you to be here for hours and hours and end.
No, I was just going to point out right at the end of the book, there's a kind of like an afterword by me. And it starts off in bold by saying, "This isn't the end." In other words, just to let people know, this is part of a dialogue. This will change and develop. And I'm hoping this time round we won't have to wait 7 years for a new version, but we'll be able to update it as we go. People like UK Screen Alliance and ScreenSkills will help us keep this fresh and keep it contemporary.
Yeah, exactly. Another question we have here, this is from Quark Spark. Is the idea of it to be annually updated, or what are the future plans for further editions? I guess that has to do with my question, because I think you guys need to find a way for people to know that there's a new version, when you updated it. Of course, you can always come here to the stream, but I mean, you need to like maybe make a some kind of email newsletter or something for it to work that way,
Yeah, I do agree, and it's been a slog to get it this far, but I'm determined that it keeps progressing, the funding wise, it'd be nice to sort of think about another version, or like you mentioned, an annual version, for instance. I think is a great idea, but also that we have been talking about doing different versions for different sectors, and what I mean by that, a European version and an Australian version, because VFX is different in certain places, has different sort of emphases. So there may be different versions, and there is talk about doing a similar thing for another subject altogether, which I can't mention because it may never happen, but not the VFX industry, but another industry. So this idea of getting the kind of collective wisdom of the industry together and presenting it to people who want to know how to get into it is a powerful idea. This book isn't a how-to about how to get into the industry, or how to learn Houdini, or how to learn Nuke. It's all about signposting, but that has to happen in lots of industries as well, I think, not just the VFX industry. That's just one, and as you know, we're relatively small in terms of the creative industries.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just sharing the book again, since I think some people are coming in late on the stream, so I just wanted to like put the book again. I think you see my screen again, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
So this is the physical book as well, like Saint was saying, but there's a digital version as well on the website. That's the website, by the way, which I've posted on the link there. And there's a PDF version there, and there's also like a fancy version that you can also read with sounds and everything. I love this. I love the sound. It's so cool.
Yeah. I know.
We're so proud of that. But yeah, this is the book we've been talking about. Funny that you would just mention that. Like, so you guys are, because obviously this is from the UK Screen Alliance, and of course is a National Lottery. I don't know if a lot of people know, but the National Lottery supports a lot of endeavors on artistic endeavors here in the UK. it's a very UK centric book in a way that has been supported by the UK industry so much. And I live in the UK, you live in the UK. A lot of people on this list are working in the UK as well. But I really see this book as an international book, because I think these pipelines and everything that is on this book is very much international. This is how we work in the industry, and especially because the UK has always, for a long time, has been one of the main places of the industry anyway. It's not anymore. It used to be more, but it's one of them. So it's funny that you are saying that you're considering making other versions. I wanted to ask you, it was on my list and I forgot. Are you considering making translations as well for it as well? Is that something in the cards or not really?
No, I mean, again, sort of, I think if I was an author and I'd written this, I might consider those things, but I need to make sure that I do everything for the industry with the industry. So I haven't had any requests for that yet, and it'll be interesting. And of course, people can do that themselves.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I already would say that I'm happy to give my skills to make a Portuguese version if you would like. I'm happy to translate it to Portuguese for the Portuguese and the Brazilian market, and there are certain countries in Africa as well that speak Portuguese as well. So I'm happy to help with that, but I'm sure you would find someone to do a French version as well, or a German version. There's so many people in this industry that do that, but I'm not saying it's necessary, but I do find that sometimes I still get the occasional question on my course, is there a version in Portuguese? There's a version in... That happens quite a few times. But
I think it would be good if we did that, but also had images which were more relatable for Portuguese people, for instance, rather than shots of events in London and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot more to it than just translations, and it'll be interesting to see who comes forward. This has only been out for a few weeks, so I'm open to lots of people contacting me. I mean, some people already have done my emails in the book, and just then I'll be able to come up with a sort of like a roadmap of what needs to change, because no doubt there'll be things in there that in a year's time will be out of date and we'll need to add new commentary, and that's fine. That's what we're hoping to do.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask. I guess you kind of already answered that question about updating it, but it won't be as long between updates, will it be? Like, is this something that you are considering keeping an eye, and how does that work? Are you going to contact the same people? Are you going to contact new people? Is there like a gathering of minds that usually is part of this? Like, how does this work? And also, so people for the audience, maybe someone is interested on getting into it as well. So,
yeah, I mean, the first time we did this, we ran a series of focus groups in London, in Soho, practically. I think it was the Groucho Club and places like that. And it was easy because everyone was in Soho at the time. That was the centre. And of course, now people have moved further afield, moved out. People are virtual, etc. So I soon discovered this time round that having physical focus groups wasn't as effective as it used to be. However, virtual focus groups and access to the documentation and comments through Google Docs, for instance, was really, really effective. So the idea of moving everything virtual means that you can have that fluidity of changing the text very quickly, etc., etc. And I think that's going to be the way ahead. It's nice to have physical copies, and of course your audience will have access to three copies of that, three winners, I guess. But at the end of the day, and also it's not copyrighted deliberately, so that somebody could take that and translate it into a language or do something with it and make it work for them. That's all good. I remember the last copy, or the copy before that. It was on Rising Sun's website. They had a copy on their website, and they're an Australian VFX company.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping interesting things will happen. People will take this and apply it and use it in lots of ways. And it'd be great to hear from any teachers, for instance, who say, I took your core skills of VFX Handbook and I took this bit and I took that bit. I've made a course and here's some shots of the students. You know, I'm hoping that people will take this and there's a great, I use this a lot. So you might have heard me say this as well, but there's William Gibson who wrote a number of great books, Mona Lisa at Overdrive and a lot of cyber noir stuff. He had a great quote in one of his books, which was, the street has its own use for things. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that, you know, you throw something out there and people will use it in a way that you never expected.
Exactly.
And that's why it's not copyrighted. That's why, you know, I'm not claiming to be the author. So you guys can use that how you wish, and maybe somebody will do some amazing things that we haven't thought about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't emphasize enough how grateful I am, and also so many artists in this industry are, for your work on this, because I know you didn't do it to earn money. There's no value here. It was all free and everything, and everyone that worked on this book was doing it for the love of the medium. And I can't thank you enough. You know, like, my students love the book, and I've already shared it with all my students, and I shared it with colleagues, with friends, you know, and I think the book is really great, and it's a great way for anyone in this industry to just understand what are the core sections of the different departments, because a lot of people sometimes they get siloed up into their own department and never really know what else happens inside the industry. This is a great way to do that, and I can already tell you that your book really pushed me to do. I've been toying around with doing an on-set supervision online course for years now, and I've been like, a lot of times, some days I'm like, oh, I really want to do it, and some days I'm like, oh, what's the point with all the AI? Why would I even bother? It's so much work. This book really pushed me as well to not just this book, my wife as well is really pushing me to do that, but I kind of feel that this book was also another little step, that especially your acquisition for VFX chapter really pushed me to really convince myself to really do a course about this, you know, because I think it's such an important step of the industry. So
yeah, and what really keeps me awake at night these days is the idea that lots of young people at school are making the wrong decisions because they kind of think that VFX or animation is all going to be done by robots in the future. So why bother? Why bother to learn this stuff? Why not go into another industry? However, all industries are being sort of dislocated by AI. But I do worry that, you know, people get the wrong impression that these industries are dying because it's all going to be automated. And I think something like this and lots of other initiatives, including your own, Hugo, are about the humanity of VFX and saying, we've got to be positive. We all love creating stuff, and that's the main thing. And you've got to keep that going, and we've got to fight to sort of maintain that. And it can be a rewarding life because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing about this is that there's this entire noise online, and I really advise people to try to avoid this amount of noise that exists on social media, because the struggle is real. Yes, a lot of people don't have a job, and a lot of people can't find a job, but I can already tell you as well, from talking with the industry and talking with companies, that there's also the other struggle, which is companies are not finding enough people. And I think that is a problem that is happening because, like you said, a lot of people give up and they don't want to do it, or they move to another career, or they think it's not worth it. We could find ourselves with a massive problem in a couple of years where we just do not have enough people, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because then they will resource to AI more and more because they can't find enough people to do it. And so, because people forget that AI has a cost as well, okay, guys? Like, I know salaries cost money and having the people there cost money, but AI has a enormous footprint on electricity, on server costs, on subscription fees, on licensing fees. It's not free. Everyone needs to... Every time I see a tweet saying, oh, I did this short film and with $10. No, you didn't, because first of all, it's all illegally licensed. So if you even really would release the short film, you would probably be sued. And if you really would go through the licensing and really going through the servers, you probably would end up spending almost the same money, or maybe a bit less, but not much less. So there's a cost, and people sometimes forget it. I think, especially with electricity. Electricity costs a lot of money, and it's not free, it's not cheap, and I think sometimes people forget that, and I'm so happy that you're doing this. Thank you so much for doing this book, because it's been amazing to see your journey with this and to launch it as well. It's been amazing, and I can't take you enough from me and from my entire audience. Everyone is really truly, everyone that sees your book are really happy that something like this is happening. And yeah.
And mainly they're happy because there's that picture of you in it, in your green suit.
Well, anyway, I don't want to keep you for much longer. Also, we've been going for 2 hours. I think it's more than enough. And people can leave a comment below. This will be a VOD. Yeah. I will do as I always do. I will put chapters on everything, on the topics we're discussing, so people can jump into chapters. I will probably publish a few shorts from it as well. So people can always rewatch it. But I think the thing to think about now is the amazing giveaway we have.
Yay!
So let's do this. We have. So Saint here was very kind to give away 3 physical copies of this book. So thank you so much for doing that, Saint. And so I'm going to. You won't see this, but I'm going to put it on the screen real quick, the QR code and everything, for people to kind of sign up real quick for it if they haven't done it yet. But I'll put it real quickly here on the screen just for a second with the link. I've also posted the link on the chat on Twitch and the chat on YouTube. And the QR code is right now on the screen, right now, if you guys want to see it. Saint doesn't see it, but the stream sees it. So if you want a copy of this book, a physical copy, which will be a collector item someday, because it won't be. I don't have a physical version of the other 2. I don't have that. By the way, that's one of my questions. Do they exist digitally somewhere?
Yes, the last version does. It actually, weirdly, is on the Norwich University of the Arts website in a weird way. So the last version does exist. The one before that, I've got ropey copies of, but no physical. Yeah.
One day, again, maybe one day for record only, for posterity, for historical purposes, I would like to digitize it somehow. Because I would love to have all 3 as a little collective.
To be honest, somewhere on one of my computers, I've probably got the old version digital, so it probably is there. But it's not out there unless your viewers know different. So but historically it is interesting, and if somebody wants to do research on the history of the VFX industry,
that's why I wanted to know about it. That's why I'm always looking into that. So so I have to, and so as I mentioned before, I also have a giveaway of my Nook course. So I'm also going to put the link there on the chat for you guys to start signing up for that as well. So that's for my second course. It's for the workshops, which is a new course I have. So if you guys want to be part of that, that's there as well. But I'll put the QR code in a minute. So now let's do your course. So let me just check here. So we have about 70 people that signed up to the giveaway. So 70. So we have about 70 people that signed up to it, and I'm gonna just the back end here see the winners for this. Now, Saint, one thing I wanted to say is that normally I try to see if the people are online still, so that I can congratulate them online, and so that's usually the case on my streams. But I don't think I'm gonna do this time because it's 3 copies. We could be here forever trying to get the 3, because that in the past I've done that. I had 3 courses, and I had to roll the dice and roll the dice and roll the dice. I was here forever. So I think we'll just draw it, and then we'll contact people offline if they're not here. So I'm gonna roll the dice here. Okay, so let's see here. letters is too small. Sorry, I need to like. Okay, so we have the 3 winners here. So I'm gonna just put them on the chat here. I'll send you the emails a little bit later on. So roll the dice. So winner of the handbook is. So what am I doing? Fat fingers now. Okay. So first winner I have here is this. So I have Ramen Zanderin. So that's the first winner of the book. So this is, where is Ramen? It is, where is it? It's a Canadian. So it's from Canada. So basically it's from Canada. Then I have, so that's the first winner. Oh, that's him. Look, he's on the chat. That's good.
Hey.
Hey there, my friend. So Artisan, which has nothing to do with Raymond Zanderin, but I will believe you, my friend. Congratulations, you've won the first copy of the book. Okay, so let's go and roll the dice for the second one.
You need a sound effect of dice rolling here, you know.
I know the drum. Zzz, I know. I should. I really should. I know what you mean. Okay, so second winner here. Let's go and roll the dice here as well. Argentinian in Canada. Look at that. That's cool. Potent mix. That's a potent mix. Okay, second winner of the handbook is Ray _RR. I have no idea about your name because I have no names here. So, but I'll contact you by email. And this is from Georgia, United States. So this is from the United States of America. So I'm not sure if they are here, but that's the winner. I'll contact them by email and we'll let them know. They would have been here somehow because the link was only available during the stream. So they would have been here. So because I never published the link outside the stream. Yeah. So they would have had been here for some time. Yeah. Okay. So last winner is. Let's see here. So I have a winner from, where is it? Okay. So that's a strange name too. Okay, so last winner, this is from India. And the last winner is Pratik M1807939. It's like a robot. Congratulations, Ray. I'm sorry, Patrick. I'm assuming your name is Patrick of some kind somewhere. So that's what I would assume. I'm not sure if they're here, but that's the last winner. So that's the 3 winners for the physical copy, a limited edition copy of this book.
I won't be posting these next week because I'll be in Italy, but I'll post them the week after, folks. So I don't know how long it takes to get to Canada or Georgia.
Yeah, I can't thank you enough about that because I know it's going to be tough for you to post for 3 different locations like this. So I thank you so much for doing that. It's much appreciated, my friend. Okay, so now that we've done that, so thank you so much, Ramon, and thank you so much, Ray, and thank you so much, Patrick as well. Patrick, I guess that's Patrick. Congratulations. Oh, is that Harsh Ray? Is that the Ray before? Is that you? So because you're saying yay, is that you as well? Because you're called Harsh Ray and your name was Ray, so maybe that is the name. Oh yeah, it is because your email has Harsh Ray on it. So that would have been you as well. So we have the second winner here as well. So Harsh Ray is the second winner for your book. So the only one missing is Patrick, but they would have been here at some point, I'm assuming. Cool, amazing, congratulations! I'm so glad that you're still here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so I'm just gonna, if you don't mind sticking around, I'll just do the last giveaway for my course, and then we'll go on and move around and go away as well. So I'll just do that one as well. Where is it? So, okay, cool. I'll do that and do the winners. Where is this? Yes, I know it's running. Where do I? Oh, come on, man. I'm having some kind of strange thing going on here.
Gremlins.
Yeah, I'm having some gremlins for sure. Oh yeah, here you go. Sorry, never mind. So I found I couldn't see the button. Okay, cool. So okay. So for everyone on the chat as well, I'll put it on my screen. So Saint won't see it, but it'll be for all of you to see it. So that will be that. So that's a QR code for the last giveaway of the day, which will be for my workshops course. This is a course I have on my Hugo's Desk Shopify page. And this is basically 8 workshops that you will find from production that I have there. So that's the giveaway. The QR code is on the screen. The link is on the screen as well. And I've posted the link also on both chats as well. So I'll wait a couple of more seconds and then, okay, draw the winner there. Okay, so I have a winner now, and the winner is from New York. So let me just put the name there, so at least we know where they're from. So winner of my course is, okay, that's a great name. So the name is The Bobini. So The Bobini. The Bobini actually won the workshops course. Thank you so much for being here on the stream, my friend. And the course will be, it's a digital version, of course, but it will go to New York this time. Yeah, that's cool. So the giveaways are done then. Congratulations, everyone, for being here. And also, like, just so you know, Saint, we've had, just so you know, I'm going to give you the totals of people that have been here today. So we've had, let's see here. So where is it? We had 210 people on YouTube, and we had 42 people on Twitch. So we had basically 250 people watching live, coming in and out. They go in and they go out.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that was great. Thank you so much, everyone. This is a great turnout for Friday.
And thank you for publicizing, you know, what looks like being a very important resource. So thank you very much, Hugo.
Not a problem. Not a problem. I really want to thank everyone that was here. I want to thank Saint for taking the time on his busy schedule to do this stream. I really, this stream will be, of course, available on VOD. We'll have a lot more, usually a couple of thousand people watching on VOD. I'll put the chapters on. The chapters will be done tomorrow or Sunday, and then by Monday it will be fully available. It's already available, but it's just like with the chapters won't be there right away. I need to put them in. So yeah, so thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, Saint, thank you so much for joining as well.
My pleasure. See you again soon.
See you again soon as well. Thank you so much. I'll see you later, my friend.
Great. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, cool. Excellent. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Saint, for doing that. I don't really have anything else that we're going to go through it now. I will just finish off with just wanted to thank my Patreons, because without them this stream would not exist. So I will just mention their names as I usually do. Thank you so much to my Patreons that support the channel so much. So my producer level, which is the higher tier in Patreon, thank you so much to Adrian, to Ben, Daniel, Fedor, Hiroshi, Kazun, Perti, Peter, we have 3 Peters, and this is this is Lefig. So thank you so much for supporting my channel so much, and also thank you so much to all the other Patreons, which I'm not going to name all of them. So these are all the Patreons and all the members on my YouTube channel as well. Thank you so much for making these streams a reality. Without your contribution every month, I would not have the time or the money to run this channel. It is really important to have the support, so I can't thank you enough for supporting this channel like this. Some of these people have been supporting my Patreon for years, so I cannot thank them enough. Thank you so much for doing that. And that's it, really. I wanted to thank Saint again. Thank you so much. And thank all of you for being here, all 250 of you. Thank you so much as well. And so I'll see you all later. I'll swap the camera, and goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much. And don't forget that next week we have the showreel reviews. And then the week after that, we have the Nuke Disconstructions as well. Thank you so much for everyone listening in, and thank you so much for everyone watching in as well. I'm going to put in my new angle as well. Goodbye, everyone. My crazy 8mm angle as well. Thank you so much, everyone. It was amazing to have you all here on the chat, and Thank you so much, Saint, and thank you so much, everyone that was involved today here on the stream. Goodbye, everyone. See you all later. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Okay? Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.